Did you hear about the new Deus Ex rumors? I'd love a continuation. Yeah, there's a lot of those franchises from like 2000s into the early 2010s that just have not seen any activity for a hot minute. And it seems so weird, but a lot of them are just, I think what it is that it takes so much longer to develop games now, but they are like, because it takes 4, 5, 6 years to develop a game nowadays, they just don't have the ability to juggle as many franchises as they used to be able to juggle. I mean, you used to have companies like Saber Interactive or Avalanche that were putting out a new game like every year, and it was all in different franchises and stuff, whereas now it's huge teams working on a few basic projects. And I think that's why. But that's why we're seeing, like, with this Embracer Group thing that happened the other day, big, like, outside funds are coming in and buying the rights to these IP, which some people were freaking out about. I see it as like, you know what? Maybe they're buying it because they're actually going to get games made on those franchises. Because if the company was willing to sell them, they weren't going to touch them, at least not for a long while. So kind of betrays their lack of commitment to the franchise that they sold. They also bought Lord of the Rings, apparently. Yeah, they own like pretty much everything for Lord of the Rings except the rights to like syndicated television miniseries. I don't know if they own the rights to the films now. I don't think they do, but we'll see. To me, what that says is that they are expecting sort of a resurgence of interest in that IP. I'm still confused as to what Embracer Group acquiring the IP rights to Middle-earth means for the Rings of Power moving forward. I think the biggest thing is just, like, for these huge franchises, it's all splintered off. So, like, for example, I signed a deal with a sponsor. They wanted to use a picture of me on their website. So I sold, like, limited rights to my likeness to that group. Some sponsors, like, say if they sponsor you for like, I don't know, maybe it's something like a clothing line or something, like, say you're a huge streamer, or like probably a better example would be something like Ninja with Red Bull. Red Bull comes along and it's like, hey, we're gonna write you a blank check, but we are the exclusive sponsor of like drinks and drinkable things on your stream. So you sign this piece of paperwork. You cannot have any other drinkable object or anything on your stream. It's just Red Bull. And then he signs that, and all of a sudden, all of that under that purview is off limits. And they broke it up that way intentionally. He didn't have to sell those exclusive rights. He probably could have negotiated it with it. So it's like partial rights where he can drink other things on stream. But getting the exclusive rights shuts all of that down, and he signs that off. And with the Rings of Power stuff, Amazon just has the rights to the television show and production of that for the foreseeable future, I'm sure. But Embracer Group now owns the rights to produce, distribute video game content, franchises, etc., etc. So it's all just broken up how they do it. But when you get an IP as large as Lord of the Rings, it's gonna eventually like splinter off like this. I'm interested if they ever go back and try to do something with the Chronicles of Narnia, because that seems like a budget version that will serve the same purposes for a lot of people. But I don't know. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe came out in like 2005, that movie. And then they made the sequel, which came out in 2008. And it was okay. It didn't do very well. And then they did the third one, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, in like 2010 or 11, which was just not well received at all. And so they're like, you know what? Maybe we just like move on. Netflix is actually making Narnia movies and shows. If they do it right. The tricky thing is that, like, both Tolkien and C.S. Lewis were friends, and they wrote stuff together, bounced ideas off of each other when they were writing their respective franchises. And Tolkien was like, I'm gonna do much more like fantasy than I'm gonna do just like a straight one-to-one Bible parody. But C.S. Lewis, like I mean, almost paragraph by paragraph, it's just like the New Testament told over. It's kind of crazy when you really look at it, how much it ties together. Because Aslan is Jesus, and then Edmund represents humanity, and he betrays the one that trusted him and that he should have trusted, all in favor of like something as frivolous as treats or temporary pleasure. And then, even though he didn't deserve it, Aslan sacrifices himself. All of these things. So with that, I mean, you have a built-in audience. I know a lot of the people that I like grew up with would go to see or would watch like a Netflix series of The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe just because they can like pass it off as Sunday school material. So I don't know. It'd be interesting.